Enough.
Enough
Is enough.
Enough
Is enough.
Don't take our jobs.
Don't take our jobs
To
to China
and send our children
and send our
to
children
jail.
to jail.
Don't take our jobs.
Don't take our jobs
To
China.
Send our children
Send our children
to jail.
to jail.
We made this company.
We made this
We
company.
made this company.
We made this company.
Our skills.
With our skills,
Sacrifice.
our sacrifice,
Not stop walking.
does not stop walking,
Not stop fighting.
will not stop fighting.
Red and yellow.
Red and yellow,
Brown, black, and white.
brown, black, and white.
We're all precious.
We are all precious
In God's sight.
in God's sight.
In solidarity.
In solidarity.
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 Men and women.
Men and women,
We'll stand together.
to stand together,
We'll go forward.
and we'll go forward
With our hope.
with our hope,
Not backwards.
not backwards,
Fear.
not fear.
Never surrender.
Never surrender.
Surrender.
Never surrender.
Surrender.
Never surrender.
Hold out.
Hold out.
One day longer.
One day longer.
March.
March.
One day longer.
One day
Fight
longer.
back.
Fight back.
One day longer.
One day longer.
Keep hope.
Keep hope
Alive.
alive.
Hope.
Keep hope
Alive.
alive.
Teamsters.
Teamsters.
Number one.
Number one.
Let me hear you scream. Who keeps you safe? Aircraft mechanics.
Keep you safe. Keep you safe.
Medical, retirement, wages. We don't want to lose what we've already invested. Right now, if we get the contract that they offered us, we would be losing money in a couple of years. We'd get a raise right now, but then we'd lose it in concessions with medical and everything. So we're trying to tell them we're not happy with the contract offer that they gave us.
And how long have you been a mechanic?
It'll be 31 years in July.
Why is United making these demands when they made $3.5 billion profit?
Good question. That's what we want to know. They have all the money right now. They're doing great. Why aren't they showing it to us? We gave tons of money back in the ESOP after they filed bankruptcy after 9/11. We go years without getting a raise. And around here, it's expensive. We have one person in my shop commutes in from Pollock Pines, almost to Tahoe. That's how hard it is to live around here and make the wages we're making.
So they say that they don't want to give you a pension, a defined pension.
We lost the pension in the bankruptcy also. We got a PBGC, but we want a defined pension. That's another thing that we're fighting for. That, just,
How do mechanics retire? No pension? I mean, what do they?
yeah, have you seen some of them? No. We have a lot of guys that are on the carry-out plan. They can't afford to retire, or if they do, they
The
have.
carry-out plan.
That's like you're here till you die and you go out in a casket.
It's called the carry-out plan.
Yeah, we call it that. Some people are able to retire, maybe they move out of the area. They can't live around here and retire with these wages. So, I don't know.
And the flight attendants and pilots are out here too. Are they angry as well about what's going on in United?
The flight attendants are also negotiating. Yeah, I'm glad that we got their support. They've been out to help us quite a bit. We helped the flight attendants when they were out with their informational a while back. So.
I mean, it seems like the management is pretty arrogant. I mean, their attitude is, screw the workers. They can do what they want. I mean, what's going to change that?
That's a good question. We were hoping that the new CEO that came in, the one that just had the heart transplant, we were hoping he sounded like he was on the side of maintenance. We don't know. He hasn't been around much because he had the heart issue. But we don't know what's going to change it. We're hoping that this is giving them a wake-up call. Our last proposal, my 31 years here, we had 93% voted the contract down. I've never seen that much unity in my whole time here. And 87% of all eligibles voted. So that's amazing. We're sticking together.
Well, why would they want to get rid of the safety teams that you have here at United? I mean, it seems like that's an important issue in the airline industry.
You would think so. I don't know. I'm not sure why they're doing the things they're doing. It's the continental merger thing. I don't know.
I mean, the mergers mean that these carriers are stronger. They have more forces. They have more of the market. Why are they using these mergers to attack the unions?
I don't know. I'm not sure. We thought it was going to be all straightened out when they first got together, but I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. I have no idea. The more money they make, they're getting
Millions of dollars? What's the golden parachute about?
Oh, yeah, we heard that the last guy that went out got, oh my God, I forgot. I heard
25 million?
something like that. Yeah. And it's like, okay, and then they have money for that. They don't have money for the workers. You know, we're trying to keep the airlines safe. We all care about our jobs. We're here because we want to be here. We're trying to do the best we can, help us out. So.
What can people do, other workers in the public do to support you?
I don't want to say don't fly because that's not supporting us. Just, we just want to apply pressure to management to get serious with us. We're hoping after the last turn down of the proposal that they offered us, maybe they'll take us seriously this time. We don't know. We're just trying to get the word out.
And your sign says Teamsters strike not yet.
Yeah, we're not striking yet. We're not on strike. We can't go on strike right now. We're not released to, but in that contract vote that we had, where the 93% voted no for the contract, yes for strike, I think. I think pretty much everybody is willing to strike if we have to.
We're aircraft mechanics, and we have been in contract talks for a long time with this company. And they have done nothing but mess us around, outsourcing our work, and all that kind of stuff.
And how long have you been a mechanic?
26 years. Most of these guys out here got 30 to 50 years.
Well, they made $3.5 billion last year. This were the big
Right. They just say they're not going to do it. But when the hard times came, they took from us. We don't have a pension. They stole our pension. So that's all I can say right now. My voice is gone.
You're trying to go on strike?
No, we're not going on strike. We don't want to go on strike. We want to keep the public safe. It's the company that wants to outsource our work overseas.
And how would that threaten safety?
Because they're not qualified. They don't go through the same rigorous testing that we do. They don't go through the drug testing. They don't go through the background checks. So you be the judge.
I'm Joe Prisco. I'm a shop steward for United Airlines, and I'm also on the National Bargaining Committee. And we're here today reinforcing the fact that 93.2% of our membership just voted no on a concessionary contract that United was trying to force down our throat. They walked away from bargaining in October and said that they were done negotiating. They wanted our members to vote because they actually believed that this was going to pass. And we told them it wasn't going to pass, and now we have the proof.
What do members feel? What do your members, rank and file machinists feel, mechanics feel about what's going on here?
Well, they're trying to figure out why is United demanding concessions when they're making billions of dollars in profit. That's the big problem, that they're asking for concessions on health care, and they want to send all the overseas maintenance. They want to increase that. It's a safety issue also because they're trying to dismantle our safety teams at United to have them company controlled instead of union controlled. So as you can hear, the mechanics are pissed.
And they also want a 3-tier. Why don't you talk what that's about?
Well, it's actually a 2-tier because what they want to do is anybody who's newly hired at United, they want to make it so that they never, ever get the same amount of vacation, the same amount of holidays. They want to have them take 8.5 years to get the top scale, and that's unacceptable because that creates a problem down the road with members having, one group having something and the other group of the members having something different.
And they made $3.5 billion last year. Can't they afford to give you what you're asking?
Well, they haven't been making the argument that they can't afford it. Their argument is that they need to stay competitive in the industry. Well, all the mechanics, all the flight attendants, all the pilots are all demanding increases in wages, pensions, and redoing of work rules. And to remain competitive, they're going to have to pay. When times were rough, they wanted us to take cuts. Now that times are good, they don't want to share.
Now, some mechanics have said Delta provided big increases. How can Delta, which is non-union, provide big increases for their members or their workers, but here at United they're refusing?
Well, Delta gave the raises because they're trying to keep unions out of there. Plus, they're messing with United's head because they knew that if they gave their guys a raise, that our contract was going to demand even more than that because we're a union shop. So United could have settled this contract a year or two ago, but they waited. Now it's going to cost them more.
Now, are the flight attendants angry as well about what's happening with them?
Flight attendants are just as angry. They have the same exact problem that we have. They're demanding concessions after this merger. They're trying to take the worst parts of the two contracts from Continental and United and merge them into one really bad contract. So the flight attendants have the same exact problem as we do.
Now, also, you've lost your pensions. Why don't you talk about how they took your pensions away?
Well, we lost our pensions in bankruptcy because they refused to make payments into the plans. And then when they were in bankruptcy, they said that the plan was so underfunded that there was no way they could ever catch up. So the government actually seized the plans. It was a setup by United to have the government take the pensions away, and we lost all of our pensions.
So that's hurt a lot of members. I mean, as far as retiring, being able to retire.
Yeah, it has. A lot of guys were going to try to leave here when they were 55 or 60, but now they can't even leave when they're 65 or 70.
What about the Railroad Labor Act? You're saying you applied for to end mediation. Where do you stand in relation to the Railroad Labor Act?
Well, the Railway Labor Act basically prevents us from going out on strike when the contract expires. Our contracts become amendable. So we asked for formal release because we took a strike vote, and our members do want to go out on strike if we can't get this contract settled. So the Mediation Board, which is a 3-member appointed panel of the government, decides if there's any room for negotiations or not. There is a small window for United to straighten up and fly right and get this done, but if they don't, then we're going to have to walk.
Well, don't you have to get approval of the government to do that under the Railway Labor Act?
Well, we do, but at some point they're going to have to release us if there's no wiggle room. Right now, United, the ball's in United's court. They got to come up with the money. We know they have it. They have never made the argument recently that they can't afford it because that's a fool's argument.
How does a mechanic live in the Bay Area when you haven't had any real wage increases for years?
Well, when you're living in the Bay Area and everything else is going up except your pay, it's hard. We've got guys that are coming in here from other stations that are being recalled from furlough, and they can't afford to live. A lot of them are living out in the parking lot behind the maintenance base in RVs. There's a large population of people that actually live in campers out back. We call it SFO RV. It's a company code. Hey, that's where you live because you can't afford to live anywhere else in the Bay Area.
And the management seems to be having a strong hard line against the unions. Where does that come from?
Well, it comes from greed. It also comes from arrogance because they believed that this membership was going to accept the substandard package that they laid out on the table for us. They were actually going around telling people, hey, you're getting a great wage, you have great work rules, we're doing this, and the membership wasn't buying it. They saw through all the veneer of trying to dismantle the safety teams, of sending aircraft overseas for maintenance. It's just more of the same. It's the same problem with most of the corporations in this country, that when they have money, they don't want to share it. And when they don't have money, they expect us to pony up and sacrifice. So.
And this idea of dismantling the safety teams, how would that affect safety at United Airlines?
Well, there's no immediate effect when stuff like that happens, but the problem is that when a union is involved with the safety teams and they have independence of the company, they can bring things up that other people might not want to bring up because they feel like they're going to be pointed out or bird dogged or tagged as a whistleblower.
Has there been retaliation against mechanics who've cited health and safety issues, made OSHA complaints?
There has been in the past. It's not an open retaliation. It's always under the radar. They try to find another way to go after somebody. But in the end, they need a robust safety program, and that can only include the workers and the unions working with the company, not separately.
Now, at FedEx, which is non-union, there have been issues of workers being retaliated against who make health and safety complaints, no protection without a union. Is that the case?
That's what I've heard. I'm not really well versed in what's going on at FedEx, but when you don't have a union to back you up, if the company disagrees with what you're saying, who's going to stand with you? You're on your own, and that's what United wants. They want to try and push the union out and let the members think that, well, the company's the only one that has your back. Well, 93% of our members said the union has our back, not the company.
Now, what has been the role of deregulation in the airline industry? Because a lot of airline workers have taken concessions on their pensions and other things. Has it had a detrimental effect to workers in the airline industry?
Well, it has for the last several years. The biggest problem is when they get into trouble, they go file bankruptcy and they abrogate contracts. Having re-regulation of the industry would probably be a good thing if it was done right, but the bottom line is that United and all these other airlines are making money and they don't want to share. We're not asking for all of it, we're just asking for our piece.
Well, these airlines, it seems like they're monopolizing each other. They're taking over other airlines, Continental, United, Delta, Northwest. It seems like they're basically becoming big monopolies again, and there's been no decrease in the price of tickets as far as cost of oil going down. So it sounds like they're making all the profits. It's going to the top.
Well, they're making the profits. The price of gas has never been lower. The load factors have never been higher. People are buying tickets. They're making money hand over fist. They've got all these ancillary fees that they ask you to pay for your bags. They want you to pay to get extra leg room. They're making all this extra money, but again, they don't want to share it with the people who actually get the airplanes moving.
And it seems like the United mechanics, Teamsters are pretty united as far as fighting back. Are you surprised by the kind of support you're getting?
I'm not surprised by the support. We were kind of surprised by the turnout on the vote because usually we get 70 or 80% no. This was 93% no. That's a pretty clear indication that United's got a problem on their hands.
Now, under the Railway Labor Act, some members have said that you don't get your back pay. How is that affected by the Railway Labor Act?
Well, it's not under the Railway Labor Act. The company has said that they don't want to reward us for delaying the contract. We're not the ones delaying the contract. We've laid it out to them what we expect to get paid. We also used their numbers that they were willing to pay prior to this to construct a retro pay, which is back pay, and they still don't want to pay. So they delay these contracts, and then they don't want to pay. They delay them for a reason because they think they can save some money by throwing a small bonus check out there. People didn't go for it.
So in other words, by delaying, they actually save money for themselves. It's really...
That would be the case, yes.
Has that happened in the past?
It has happened in the past, but we've also been able to get retro pay from them before. Not recently, but we know they have the money, so they're going to have to pay.
Now, this issue of defined pensions, a lot of companies now are saying they don't want a defined pension where you know what you're going to get as far as a pension. They want 401ks. What's your position here, and what are the membership's position?
Well, the membership's position is that they want money either through a 401k, the match, or a defined contribution, or a defined benefit pension plan. United doesn't want to do any of that. They've actually moved away from that. The guys from Continental, they have a defined benefit plan. The mechanics from United have a 401k contribution, and what they want to do with the new guys coming in is just give them a match of 4%, and that's it. So they don't want to take care of you when you retire. They don't want to take care of your medical when you're an active employee. They don't want to take care of your medical when you retire. They just want you to come here, sweat, and then leave. And that's it. It's going to get worse. This is not going to stop until we get a contract.
Why you're here today?
Well, the reason I came today is support my Teamster union and all my co-workers at United Airlines. We deserve a fair contract.
And how long have you worked at United?
45 and a half years.
And they're making some money?
Oh, they're making plenty of money. They just have to learn how to treat their employees right.
What's wrong with them?
What's wrong with them? They're too greedy, like most corporations in America.
They made $3.5 billion and they can't afford what you're asking?
They really made about $7 billion, but they won't admit it.
There's a lot of unity among not just mechanics, but also flight attendants. You think people are getting fed up with what's going on?
Oh, most definitely. Because it's time that the corporations, they made their money here in America, so it's time to pay the American people what they're due.
And how does a young mechanic survive on the wages you're making? I mean, a lot of them live in trailers. I mean, it seems like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, it's very expensive to live here in California, so you have to make gold to stay here. So,
what's your name?
Gerald.
45 years?
45 and a half. Oh, yeah.
And I've been told some mechanics can't even afford to retire because they took away your pension. What's going on with that?
Yeah, the pension that they took away, they split the money between the top 400 officers of the company, but we're fighting to get our pensions back, and that's why I'm still here, because I want all of my money, that they owe me. I don't want no more excuses.
You feel that they stole your money?
Oh, most definitely they stole it, and making excuses about it. But
why aren't they going to jail?
Well, because too often in America, they don't consider it a crime until you get caught. but we caught them. So now it's time for them to pay.
Dan Pepin. And the story is after 9/11, we took a pay cut and concessions to get the company to survive. Now that they made $4 billion in profit last year, now they don't want to give anything back. So we're mad as hell, so that's why we're here protesting.
It seems like it's not a question of money. They just don't want to negotiate. Is that the case?
Well, the longer they stall, the longer they get to keep our money that they're supposed to give us in a new contract and make millions and millions on interest of that money or on that money.
And do you think you're going to get the right to strike? I mean, you have to be released by the mediation board. Is that going to happen?
Well, we have to wait and see for March 3rd to come along and see what they say. They're meeting on March 3rd.
And if they don't provide you what you need, are you prepared to strike?
Well, we are prepared if they let us strike, but the president is probably going to step in and stop it because the airline, the economy depends on the airline, all the airlines, to move cargo around. So we'll wait to see what Obama says.
You think you should have the right to strike?
We should, because the Railroad Labor Act is what we're performing under, which is a law that was made a long time ago and should be eliminated because it doesn't affect, the airlines don't affect the economy like it did back in the 1940s. Nowadays, we got everything else to move cargo around the country, like railroads, ships, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, how long have you been a mechanic?
25 and a half years.
Why do you think it's gotten so bad here for mechanics and workers in the airline industry and other industries?
Well, it seems like that the country wants to eliminate the middle class, and it seems like they're doing a pretty good job of it. And it's sad to see it happen right before our eyes. So that's what's going on, and they're going to try to give us a concessionary contract that we have to live under, and they don't, upper management that is. Even before 9/11, there was such a thing as an employee stock option program called the ESOP. It started on July 2nd, 1994. It was a 6-year plan. So to generate more revenue, they made a deal with us to take a pay cut. But to compensate us for the pay cut, they gave us company stock. At the end of the 6-year term or deal, they stole that stock away from us. So every mechanic lost $100,000 in cash. Every pilot lost $300,000. And they used that money to buy brand new Airbuses. And that was 1994 and for a 6-year run. And right now those Airbuses are still flying around and they're approaching 20 years old and they're still flying. And that's what happened there. One more insight is that the contract the company's trying to give us was a $10 an hour raise, but $8 of that would go to paying for concessions. So, in other words, the contract we're working under right now is better than the contract they're trying to give us.
Mike Alberton, I'm a mechanic at San Francisco up at the maintenance base, working with a plating shop.
So what do you think about what's happening with United Management, what they're trying to do?
Man, I tell you one thing, it's the same. It's been the same old song and dance with these guys for such a long time. Even with the merger, they promised they wanted to have amalgamated contracts, industry-leading contracts, and all that stuff. We've been negotiating now for over 3.5 years. 2 of those years were in mediation due to what Doug McKean filing for mediation, and it's like they don't want to pay us. They're making record profits right now, record profits. And the old CEO got ousted because he was doing some shady stuff. And now we got this new guy says he wants to do stuff. But I remember I had faith in the old CEO, so it's going to be more of the same because there really haven't been no management changes. I think they're on the company negotiating side, they still got the same players going in at the table. I don't see a change in what they're doing.
So they made $3.5 billion. Some people say they made more last year.
I don't know exactly what they made, but it's like the first record-setting profits they've ever made and stuff like that. And they don't want to pay us, and it really just it gets me after all the stuff, especially on the United side, lost on ESOP or pensions, bankruptcy, and all this stuff. Matter of fact, in bankruptcy, we lost like some of our sick pay and a couple of our holidays, and now they threw them back at us like they're giving us something we never had before. And it's like, that's almost like me walking in your house and stealing something from you and then a week later selling it back to you. I just don't get it.
What's going to stop it?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. If they want to go down, push it to a 30-day cooling off period and possible strike a PEB, I don't know. It's up to them.
Are members ready to strike here?
I think so. This is the best. Voting turnout we have. 93.2% of us voted the contract down. Well, a company proposal that they just threw off the table after negotiating for so long. They just threw this thing at our negotiators and said, "This is the best and final." And we're like, "What? Wasn't even a tentative agreement." First time in my 26 years at United I've ever seen that. So,
they're pretty arrogant.
Yeah, that's what we had this meeting at the base the other day where the CEO, they showed clips of new CEO Oscar Munoz saying sense of purpose and all this stuff. But then when I see the people giving the presentation locally, there were some new people there, but you got the same people saying different things. And I'm like, don't these people got a conscience? I mean, the same people that were trying to screw me, and now they're saying, oh, this. I go, I just don't have no faith in them. I'm sorry. That's don't have no faith at all.
Who keeps you safe? Aircraft mechanics. Who keeps you safe? Aircraft mechanics. No peace. No contract.
No peace.